Good afternoon, and welcome to ApiOpenStudio. This month we'll be doing a presentation on the new production Docker that I've been working on recently. This will enable us to enable you actually, not me, to very quickly set up ApiOpenStudio in a Docker, in a production environment, both admin and the API. So, a little bit of a confession here. I've just found out yesterday that the admin Docker was broken. There was actually no code in there. Somehow when it's doing the build, it's not transferring the code across. It's working fine on the API, so I'm not going to be able to show you the full setup. But what I will do is at least set up the API with the Docker so I can walk you through that. So the main rationale that I want to go through on the API for the Docker is that there's many ways of setting it up. This way is much the cleanest route. It's very quickly and simple. It basically means, say if you want to set up the API, the servers in AWS, you would set up two separate servers, one for the admin and one for the API. They're pure bare bones. You don't need to worry about setting up servers or anything like that. All you need to do is make sure that SSH, HTTP and HTTPS ports are open. The reason why we're doing them on two separate servers is that when you think about it logically, it kind of makes sense, because if you've got an incoming port on, say, port 80 or 443, then the server won't know which Docker, is it admin or is it API, to route to unless you set up a reverse proxy. So this is the easiest route that we're going to do. I've already set up a server for the API. The only thing I've put on there at the moment to set us up is Docker and certbot, and I've set up also a subdomain that we'll use, so the certbot can now give us HTTPS on that. Apart from that, it's completely bare bones, so I can walk you through that now. So let's begin. I'm just going to transfer to the desktop, and we can start walking through this. One sec. There we go. Right. And I'm just going to switch this over to the other screen so I can make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Yep, all good. Right, so first of all, I've got all the information that we need on the wiki, as well as the Docker. So we'll look at the Docker first, and I'll walk you through what we've got here. We have two Dockers in here, one of which unfortunately is not working, which is the admin. I've already put a note in there just to stop people. I'll get that up probably over the weekend. That'll be done. It's fairly simple, I think. We've got some fairly simple instructions here that we've got here. Basically, there will be two containers on the system. You've got the data, the DB data, so that's going to be the volume. You've then got the database container, which is going to be MariaDB, that will use that. So the good news on that is that it's completely decoupled from the database container. So if you need to update the database or change it or stop it, you can. In fact, you can completely remove it. It doesn't matter. It won't destroy the volume. And also with the new version of Dockers, that is now encrypted, so you're completely safe there. And then we've got the API network. We create networks so that when we create the ApiOpenStudio Docker, that will sit on the same network, so that's completely isolated as well. All traffic happens purely between the database and the API, and then external onto port 443 and outwards from the server there. We've got, so that's just like the bare bones. By the way, You will have to obviously replace that and that with your SSL keys. You can set it up to run on pure port 80 if you want, but I wouldn't recommend that. That's just plain text, so that won't be secure at all. Yes, so if we then go to the wiki and we go to the install Docker, and we'll do the production version. Here we got much more information here. So I've already done this one. I've already set up the Docker. I'll show you quickly that what we have is a very, very plain bare bones server. EC2 running. Yeah, there you see it's just a plain Ubuntu jumping 2204. So there's no Nginx, no PHP, no Apache, not even UFW. It's completely bare bones. And also, I didn't really want to walk you through this basic DevOps stuff, but it's all there now. So we've got the install Docker, make sure there's no Apache or Nginx, and a quick tutorial there on certbot to set that up. So let us begin by setting up the container. You can see I was nuking everything there. If we have a quick look at certificates, you'll see that I've installed 2 there. So we've got the whoops, 1 second, I've just lost my page. There we got the certificate, and we've got the key there. So we'll start on that one. So first of all, we're going to set up the database volume. There we go. And now we'll set up that's not how you spell it. Yep, there we go. I'm going to copy and paste this, because if I type this, it's guaranteed to fail. I'm not going to bother because it's just a demo, I'm not going to bother changing the MySQL user or passwords. Obviously, if you're going to do this in production, you would, because you don't want to be copying straight what's on the network. That'll be very easily hacked. And you can see there that it's using the DB data volume, and that's going to be the name of the host, and it's on the network, API network. So spin that up. Okay, there we go. Now we need to get the configuration file. So I'm going to create a directory in /data ApiOpenStudio for it, and create it using sudo, so it's going to be owned by root. And we'll copy the file from the GitHub repository, and we'll store it as data ApiOpenStudio settings.yaml. There we go. Right, now we'll edit that. Right, there's a few things that we need to edit here. The reason why I set up a specific one for the Docker environment is that there's a lot of logging options that you can use, and really all we want to do is we want to log into file for the API stream and the database stream. They're going to be in separate files, and also then to the std out, which will mean you can then view live the logging that comes from it. Now we haven't changed anything for the database, so nothing's changed for username and password for the connection it's going to make, and it's already set up to go to the host ApiOpenStudio DB. If we now go to the API, we need to define what the URL is going to be, because obviously it needs to know that. So we'll change that to demo-api.API.openstudio.com. Yep, that's good. We also then need to copy paste that into the jot keys. Some settings for the jot key. So when it's creating the jot key, you have the issuer and what it's permitted for. So that's pure security. That means that nobody can half-inch it and use it for something else. And we're not going to bother. I'm not going to bother with emails or anything like that. This is just a simple demo to show that we've got everything up and going. You can also, if you wanted to, you could set up different directory, but I've purposely put it into there just for privacy and security, so it's outside of the www, the var www directory. Right, so we'll save that. Now that we've got that, I'm going to start. Actually, oh no, I've already got that. Sorry, 1 second. So now we're going to set up the API container. We need to know it, let it know where the certificates are, so it can mount them. You also need to change the tag for the ApiOpenStudio. That's going to be the latest, which I can tell you now is beta 3. If we have a quick look in the tags, you'll see here which versions we've got. So at the moment we've got the developer and the master branches, but that's the latest release tag, which is definitely working, by the way. I had that running this morning, so I'm happy with that. Right, let's crank that off. Okay, we're up and going. Now we can jump in and we can install it. Already in sudo docker commands. Right. Now if we type in install, first of all, it'll download the Composer dependencies. These are all the third-party stuff that we need. And then it will jump directly into the install script that we've got. There is a separate script for this if you really wanted to, so you can rerun it if you want. So first prompt, create a new database. It will obviously nuke the existing one. Yes, go for it. Don't care. I'm going to allow it to add the test users so we can view some more functionality. And now we're going to be very secure. Admin test 1 2 3 4, that'll do. And I really don't care about the email address. Yep. So now it'll generate. You don't need to worry about that. That's because if you rerun it, it has to delete the original version, and obviously they don't exist at the moment because there's nothing there, but if you reran the install script, that will remove the old ones before creating the new ones. So we're now in there, and if I jump into Postman, see on demo we've got, I now need to put in pass 1 2 3 4. Okay, let's save that, and if we go to fetch a token, it doesn't work. I'm actually going to rerun that install script because there was something a bit squiff there. Yes. Yes. Right. Yep. Ooh. It's okay. I think that has actually worked. What I will do is have a quick check. Can I remember where they were being stored? No. Nginx certs. Okay, so they're definitely there. That's worked. Let's check that again. Username, password, and we'll jump into that one. Need to change this now. Oh, I didn't save it. I bet that's why it didn't work. Woo! Right. Well, I think I'm going to stop right there now, just because it's probably not the right time just to do a debugging, but it looks like I've got a few teething issues on this one, which is strange because it was actually working for me this morning when I did a dummy one. Actually, what I could do a quick look. Container ls. Ooh. Oh, Muppet. Should be fine. Okay, well, I'm going to stop at this point, and just to answer middle ground, sorry, there's a bit of my Englishness coming out there. Does half inch mean steel? Yes, it does. Half inch, pinch. It's Cockney rhyming slang. Sorry, a bit of Englishness coming out there. And sorry, that was, I should have muted my phone. Marketers, you can spot them because they always come from Ringwood, Victoria. Okay, so we'll stop there. I'm going to go back to Cam, and all right, I think we'll call that a day. Thank you very much.